We all have a great teacher who teaches us for our future, right guys? That beloved teacher who cares about us, who wants to see us learn and grow. But the story I'm going to tell today is about a teacher who did something so absurd, so unbelievable, that when you hear it, you will be left speechless. Before we begin, like and subscribe now so that you and your family are protected. This is super important. And get ready, because this real story that happened about 2 years ago is going to leave you shocked from beginning to end. Well guys, this story happened about 2 years ago. In an elementary school in an inland city, there was a girl, let's call her Lily, who was a 3rd grade student. Lily was a normal, playful, smart girl, the kind who loves to make jokes in the classroom and make her friends laugh. But Lily also had a massive passion. She absolutely loved playing Roblox. Whenever she was at home, she would spend her free time playing games like Brookhaven and challenging herself with hard Obby games. She was incredibly good at them. She loved designing her digital house in Brookhaven and talking about her Roblox adventures with her friends. Lily had a new teacher that year. Let's call her Miss Clara. Miss Clara had just arrived at the school. It was her first year teaching there. At first, she seemed nice, friendly, and the students liked her. But as the months went by, things started to change in a very strange way. Miss Clara began to get more and more rigid and strict with the students. She would scream over anything, punish excessively, and had very sudden mood swings. One minute she was smiling, and the next minute she was furious. The students started to fear her. They never knew how she was going to react. Lily, being playful, active, and always excited about her Roblox games, ended up catching Miss Clara's attention frequently. Lily would often bring Roblox drawings to school, or sometimes she would draw Brookhaven characters in the margins of her notebooks. Miss Clara, who was very old-fashioned and strict, absolutely hated this. She thought Roblox was a complete waste of time and felt that Lily was brain-rotted by video games. She was always scolding her, saying she was messy, didn't pay attention, and was always causing trouble because she was too busy thinking about Brookhaven and jumping over virtual Obbies instead of doing real work. Lily tried to behave better, but it was hard. She was just an 8-year-old girl full of energy who loved sharing her favorite hobby. One day, Lily was talking to the classmate next to her during class. She wasn't doing anything serious, just a quiet little conversation about a super cool new Brookhaven update and how they were going to play an obby together after school. But Miss Clara saw them whispering. When she heard the word Roblox, she became extremely irritated. It was like a switch flipped in her mind. She screamed at Lily in front of the whole class, saying she was impossible, that she was a hopeless case, and that her brain was completely ruined by those stupid video games. But guys, this is where things get very serious. Miss Clara, completely out of her mind, walked up to Lily's desk and roughly grabbed her arm. It wasn't a gentle touch, it was highly aggressive. It left a dark red mark immediately. Lily started crying from fright and pain. The other students were in shock watching that. Lily was crying, rubbing her arm that hurt. Miss Clara then said something that left all the students terrified. She looked at Lily with a very serious face and said, "Since you love playing those foolish games so much, maybe you need a real-life obstacle course. If you don't stop misbehaving and talking about Roblox in my class, I'm going to take you to my house and make you work by the hot oven until you turn as red and sweaty as a roast chicken. Let's see you try to escape that obby." The students froze as they listened. Lily was terrified by the threat. Even though she was a child, she understood that the teacher was saying something very terrifying. She kept crying. Now, not just from pain, but from total fear. The other students also got very scared. Some of them started crying as well. The whole classroom was in a panic. Miss Clara then ordered everyone to be quiet and keep doing their activities. Lily tried to stop crying, but she couldn't. She was very upset. Her arm hurt, and the teacher's threat echoed in her head. The other children spent the rest of the class in absolute silence, fearing they would be next. When the bell rang for the end of class, Lily ran out of the room. She went straight to talk to the school coordinator, a kind lady who always listened to the students. Lily, still crying, told her everything that had happened. The rough handling of her arm, the angry shouting about Roblox, and the horrible threat of making her sweat by the hot oven. She showed her arm, which was still red with the mark. The coordinator was horrified by what she heard. She immediately took Lily to her office and called her parents. While they were waiting for her parents to arrive, the coordinator asked if other students had seen what happened. Lily said yes, that the whole class had seen and heard everything. Lily's parents arrived at the school very quickly. When they saw their daughter's arm with the red mark and heard about the teacher's absurd threat regarding the hot oven, they were furious and terrified at the same time. They demanded to speak with Miss Clara. Immediately, the school principal was called to handle the situation. The principal called Miss Clara to her office and confronted her about Lily's accusations. Miss Clara denied everything at first. She said Lily was making up stories, that she was a problematic student who lived to tell lies, and that she was just obsessed with video games and imagination. But when the principal said she was going to call the other students to confirm, the teacher got nervous. The principal called 3 other students from the class, one by one, to hear their versions. All 3 confirmed Lily's story. They said they had seen the teacher aggressively grab her, get extremely angry about them discussing Roblox, and had heard the threat of the hot oven. One girl even started crying while remembering the scene, saying she had been very scared. Confronted with the testimonies, Miss Clara changed her story. She admitted she had given a sudden nudge to Lily to get her attention, but said she didn't mean to use much force. About the threat, she said it was just a joke, that she was trying to use a gaming metaphor to speak Lily's language, and that she only wanted to scare her a little so she would behave. Lily's parents became even more furious. What do you mean, a joke? What kind of adult, what kind of teacher threatens an 8-year-old girl with a hot oven? Even if it was a joke, it was completely inappropriate and terrifying. They demanded that measures be taken immediately. The school principal suspended Miss Clara. At the moment, she said she was suspended while they conducted a full investigation. Lily's parents were guided to file a report regarding the physical mistreatment. They were also advised to take Lily to a psychologist because the experience had been traumatic. Meanwhile, the school began to investigate deeper. They spoke with all the students in Lily's class individually. They discovered very worrying things, guys. Several other children reported that Miss Clara frequently had strange behaviors, that she screamed a lot, and that she sometimes said terrifying things. One student shared that the teacher had once said she was going to lock anyone who didn't finish their homework in the dark room. Another student said the teacher had pulled his ear hard when he made a mistake on a math problem. There were more cases of inappropriate behavior that no one had reported before because the children were afraid. The investigation also revealed something important about Miss Clara. She was going through serious personal problems. She had recently divorced. She was having financial difficulties. She had lost custody of her own children. All of this was seriously affecting her mental health, but she had not sought help. The Child Protection Council was activated to evaluate the situation. They carefully conducted age-appropriate interviews with all the children in the class. They confirmed there had been emotional neglect and verbal abuse of several children, in addition to the physical mistreatment. In Lily's case, it was a very serious situation. Miss Clara was officially dismissed from the school. Additionally, she had to face a lawsuit for child mistreatment. The Regional Board of Education also opened an investigation to evaluate whether she should lose her teaching license entirely. The parents of Lily and other affected students filed lawsuits. Lily had to undergo psychological follow-up for several months. She had developed a fear of going to school, fear of teachers in general, and nightmares about the threat the teacher had made. For a while, she didn't even want to play Brookhaven or her Roblox games because she felt guilty, thinking her favorite hobby had caused the whole thing. The psychologist worked with Lily to process the trauma, to help her understand that it was absolutely not her fault, and that enjoying Roblox was completely fine. It was the teacher who was wrong, not her. Slowly, Lily started playing her games again, which actually helped her relax and feel like a normal kid again. The entire school was affected by the scandal. Parents questioned how that could have happened. Why had no one noticed before that the teacher was having problems? The school had to hold meetings with all the families, explaining the measures they were going to take to ensure that something like this would never happen again. They implemented new safety protocols, guys. Now there were cameras in all classrooms, closer supervision of new teachers, and mandatory training on mental health and stress management. They also created an anonymous channel where students and staff could report concerning behaviors. The new teacher who took over Lily's class was completely different. Super patient, loving, and attentive to the children's emotional needs. She actually learned a little bit about Roblox just so she could talk to Lily and make her feel welcome and happy in class. She spent the first few months working to rebuild the students' trust, to make them feel safe again. It was a slow process, but it worked. As for Miss Clara, she ended up having to undergo mandatory psychological treatment as part of her sentence. She was diagnosed with severe depression and impulse control disorder. The professionals explained that she needed urgent treatment and was in no condition to work with children until she recovered. The most important thing, guys, is that in the end, despite everything that happened, everything turned out fine. Lily recovered from the trauma with the help of therapy, her family's support, and her favorite games. She started liking school again. She trusted teachers again. The red mark on her arm disappeared in a few days. But the lesson about speaking up when something is wrong remained forever. The other students in the class also recovered. They learned that it is important to tell a trusted adult when something bad happens, and that they should not be afraid to speak up. The school became a safer place with all the new protocols. And Miss Clara, after a lot of treatment, eventually acknowledged that she had acted terribly wrong. Lily is 10 years old today and is doing great. She is still conquering hard obbies and building cool houses in Brookhaven. The experience was horrible, but she learned that there are people who care about her and will protect her. She is still that playful and smart girl, but now she also knows the importance of setting boundaries and speaking up when something isn't right. The story spread through the community as a warning. Other parents became more attentive, asking their children how they were being treated at school. Several schools in the region reviewed their own safety protocols after hearing what happened. Something good came out of a bad situation. Like and subscribe to stay protected. This serious story reminds us that it is important to speak up when something bad happens, that adults have a responsibility to protect children, and that mental health issues need to be treated. Tell me in the comments, do you trust your teachers? Do you love playing Roblox too? Do you know who to talk to if something bad happens? I want to read your comments. Take good care of yourselves, guys. Remember that you deserve to be treated with respect and kindness always. No adult should mistreat you or say terrifying things to you. And if that happens, tell someone who can help immediately. You are important. You deserve to be safe. Lily's story ended well because she was brave and spoke up. Be brave too.